For me, a good acoustic guitar string really lets the instrument speak. I've been playing D'Addario strings pretty much since I first started to play. I don't have to worry about them dying after one show. I just like the way they sound.
Hey everybody, this is Perry with Premier Guitar here in Nashville, Tennessee today at the Bridgestone Arena with my new friend CJ, who is playing for Mr. Tyler Childers and the Food Stamps. And you are a relatively new guy to this band.
Yeah, almost 2 years. Kind of grew up playing with all these guys, so it's kind of old hat, even though I'm the new guy. We've been buddies a long time. Jesse and I were in a bluegrass band together for many years, and it's kind of cool to join the gang.
Yeah, what an honor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to ask, like, how did you fall into this? But it was just like, I guess y'all needed
Tyler
a lead.
and I used to play as a duo some, like in the early years in dive bars and whatnot, while I was playing with the Wooks, which was the band Jesse and I was in. And then he did a record where he kind of stepped away from the acoustic guitar in the Hounds record and was focusing kind of more on the singing. It was more you know, a lot of high notes, and my band went on hiatus, and he gave me a call. So,
what a great
call to get. Yeah.
What a great phone call.
It's good to get to play with your friends too. It's like
right.
We've all known each other for a long time and worked together and done co-bills, so it's not like being a new guy in a new environment.
Right.
It's pretty easy, and they're all cool to hang out with. So.
What a blessing, because you know,
never know.
touring is not always the most fun thing in the world. So
sometimes you get guys that have never met until you play, and
right.
like there's some value in knowing each other on and off the stage. It makes it a little easier.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you have some really cool stuff going on. Harmonies are kind of your thing, right?
Yeah, that's been a new thing. It's you can get an old guitar for less than $10,000-$20,000, like a lot of the main brands, and like they actually, if you put the time into them to restore them, they can play well too. It's just a lot of times they set in a corner in a basement somewhere.
Right. Action's all crazy and stuff. Yeah, just got to work on them a little bit.
Yeah, all these, I put stainless frets on this Stratotone. It's a 1960, awesome gold foils.
I love how little they are.
Waverly tuners, swap those out. And then this harmony, neck set, stainless frets, and it's playing just like a, new guitar now. So
now, we'll get back to these, but the Sovereign was kind of like their Cadillac, right? Their flagship guitar. Okay, yeah.
And
but they were still pretty reasonably priced.
Yeah, and I started with a Buck Owens that was just like a guy that was influential in the local scene. Brian Powell, like back in Lexington, kind of taught me tunes early on, and he passed away. Went to his funeral and saw a photo of him playing this Buck Owens guitar, and never saw him with the guitar because he got a Martin and he never brought that thing out. And the family eventually sold it to me. I was really lucky to get it, and then the harmony addiction kind of snowballed out of the Buck Owens guitar.
Did that Buck Owens play like a truck, or was it?
It was in rough shape. It had been in his basement. It's a 1970. And I got it redone. Guy in Nashville, Adam Wright, restored it for me, and I used it on the Rustin in the Rain record.
Right.
And it fit really well with Tyler's guitar at the time. He was playing a big 12 fret Collings, and it was like a Mack truck, super bassy, and the Buck sat into that record real nice. So I was like, well, there's something to this, and played that type of guitar on the record and then on the road last year. And then Tyler switched to a smaller body this year, so I got this guy.
The big boy. Yeah. So I don't know a ton about the old harmonies, but some of them didn't even come with truss rods and stuff, right?
Yeah, all mine have it, but there are some that don't.
Those are probably more.
This guitar is strange. It's got such a huge neck on it that the truss rod doesn't even have to engage. It's perfectly straight, and it's just tight enough to keep it from rattling.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. And as far as electric, let's start in electric land, because this is probably doing a lot of your heavy lifting, right?
Well, actually, I play like 95% acoustic guitar.
Really?
But we all kind of switch.
Yeah.
Jesse's got every instrument known to man, so we just kind of see what's happening. And there'll be like tours where I play 5 or 6 songs on electric, and then there'll be like this tour I play 1 or 2. And it's just kind of, I started playing the mandolin when I joined Tyler. It's just kind of like he'll push you to do new things.
Yeah.
Electric on stage is relatively new for me. My old bluegrass band we would do a couple of shows a year electric for fun, but it's been kind of a trial by fire on electric and learning all the knobs, and then you meet people and get new stuff, and it's kind of a huge learning curve versus this guitar. This is kind of a dreadnought, Collings or Martin. That's what I've played for most of my career, and just trying to learn my way around the electric guitar, but it's been fun.
One of the things I love about your band the most is like everyone is a utility guy, basically. You know, like Jesse's playing fiddle, he's playing guitar, he's kind of playing, you know, you guys all wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And I think there's something.
Jesse's pretty interesting because like a lot of times you hear utility and you're kind of like, it's somebody that's proficient on each instrument, but he actually rips on everything.
Well, he also teaches. He's a professor.
He don't just play the fiddle and the electric guitar. He rips at both of them. Then he gets the banjo out, and you're like,
God damn it.
Yeah. Like, man.
Well, let's talk about this Fender here, and then we'll go into this harmony, and then we'll talk about some of your acoustic instruments. So what do you got here?
This is a '66 Strat, actually, that is on like a semi-temporary loan to me, and I actually had the same guitar when I was about 11 or 12 for a few years. Same guy let me use it, and then it stayed under his bed for a number of years, and
gotta play it.
A buddy of mine, and he showed up at the show and was like, take it and play it. So I got it kind of set up, some frets, and it's a magical guitar. I'm lucky to get to play it. It's, anything that old is hard to come by. It's like Placid Blue, but it's sort of turned with the age,
Right.
It's like legit relicking.
Yeah. No custom shop on that bad boy.
And I've been trying to, since I'm kind of learning the gear on electric, I've really used as little pedals as possible because I get kind of bogged down in them. But this Page I kind of keep on. It's a really cool company out of, I think, Canada.
Yeah,
Kingsley.
So it's like there's like a 12AX7 or something in there, right?
Yeah, there's like a real tube in there, to my knowledge. And this compressor has been a really good pedal. Right now, what I use it for is kind of a parachute. If something happens and it's too loud, I'll crunch it down with that. Because sometimes like things are just hitting the ears different, even though you've got the same settings from the night before. So it's kind of like the panic button if it's like cranking. But right now I'm just getting this amp from Taylor at Amplified Nation.
Dumble clone action.
It is an amazing amp, but there are so many different settings on it. The good thing is, even if you're out of whack on it, it's going to sound good. There's no bad settings on it. And I've been using mainly this, which is just controlling the overdrive channel, going from clean to overdrive. And then like with the Strat, this like they call it a preamp boost, but to my knowledge, it's just taking the EQ
circuit out. Yeah, okay.
And it really helps the Strat because it's like less output.
That's a pretty big boost.
Yeah. And then when I go to the gold foil, I can take it off, and then my levels are the same. Which I'm not used to switching guitars. This is the first band I've ever been in that I don't play the same guitar all the way through.
So I would imagine with bluegrass, you have one killer flat top.
I toured with that guitar as my only instrument on the road. That or a 57 D18. Those were my two main guitars. And I got a hand-built guitar that's more of a like pre-war D28 that is kind of a studio guitar built by a guy in Japan named Hiroshi Suda. He's a really cool dude. makes like 16 guitars a year, and they're nitro and pretty as close as I've found to what the 37 D28s that you can afford anyway.
Sure, yeah, that's always the
30s D28s. That's the holy grail, but they're a little harder to come by these days.
It's kind of a finite resource.
Yeah.
At this
I started,
point.
I was a huge Tony Rice nut, so anything Tony used,
you wanted to get your hands on, sure. That's understandable, of course.
Yeah.
So as far as effects for electric go, really pretty.
Yeah, so this is my, like I said, if things are too loud, this is always on the page, and then
just to drive your amp a little bit.
I'll use this Echoplex delay occasionally, just give a little slap back, kind of like on the classic country kind of stuff. But mainly I'm using the amp, and then I love these katanas. I keep them everywhere. Sometimes I have like 3 because they're really clean. They don't change the signal. And that's for like solos, or if things are too quiet, and then I use the katana over here as like a secondary boost. So like, I call it baby boost, but like sometimes you want to do a fill, but you don't want like boost level, solo level.
Right.
The local shop back home will cut. Like I buy like every katana they get in. They all make fun of me. They also give me crap for putting the stainless frets in the harmonies, but I love those
if
guitars.
It's you playing it, who cares, man? That's funny. And then also on your board is a Greer Lightspeed. I'm a huge fan of Nick Greer. Personally, but also everything he makes.
I've had this thing, and I just kind of keep it around because it's trustworthy.
Yeah, they're
and
great.
Like if I need to add a little dirt to the page, it's there, and then it never fails, so I just keep it around.
So are you dialing it almost more of like a clean boost?
Man, my perception, I don't know if it's because I'm just, coming from bluegrass to electric guitar, but my perception of dirt is, like, that's a lot of dirt for
louder.
me.
yeah, totally.
So, I mean, it's all, to me, like, overdrive or like dirt is kind of like different to each player.
Sure.
So like if I need to get real nasty, I'll put them all on, and I've just got various stages, like if you take the overdrive channel off on the amp, I can get it there. But that's about as gnarly as I can stand to get.
Even then, that's pretty light gain.
My influences on electric guitar, like mainly like Steve Gaines, the last guy that played on the last couple Skinner records. Pretty clean Strat. I like Mark Knopfler.
Huge Knopfler fan. Yeah.
Dickie Betts.
R.I.P.
Yeah. What a great catalog of music he left behind. I mean, we were all been playing stuff since that happened. I snuck a little bit of Blue Sky into Universal Sound last night. But yeah, I had a lot of good local. I was talking about Wilco. There's a guy that worked there that taught me guitar, Eric Cummins, and he immediately got me on to. I was into Stevie Ray Vaughan like everybody else.
Sure.
If you work at a music shop, you're probably tired of hearing a Strat cranked up. But he was like, "Here's a Government Mule record,"
right.
And kind of got me into the Allman Brothers, headed in more of that direction, and I definitely Allman Brothers, Skinner. We've got to do some shows with Warren Haynes, and that's like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, man, we shot a rundown with him not long ago, and I was pretty blown away by his setup. Is not what you would expect. He's playing like SLO 100s or something.
It's I always take an ear out when he sits in with us, just to let. It's like a good kind of pain.
Yeah.
It's
loud, baby. Yeah, it's really, really loud.
Trey sat in with us, and the train wreck was like sitting right here, and the tube screamer all cranked, and I pulled one out for that too. It's like it's good to get punished every once in a while.
So I guess that's how you guys are running now. The last time we did a rundown with Tyler and his band, it was not an arena. You know what I mean? It was the accident, so there were monitors and stuff. And you guys are probably all on ears at this point.
We are, and it's like, but we still it's not, the amps aren't under the stage, and there's not a lot of like modeling and things.
Right.
So it's kind of, if you pull out an ear or both even, you could play.
Sure. Yeah,
You
because your
know?
stage volume isn't.
And sometimes I do that just with the acoustic. If I hear the house, it feels a little more natural. If I'm in a bind, I'll take one out and take a solo. And but that bass amp's still cooking.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty loud.
Those Leslies, man, those add up. We got one on the steel, one on the organ. You know, they're still here.
Yeah, yeah, totally, yeah.
Ears and all.
All right, well, while we're on pedals, I guess we'll touch on your acoustic board, and then we'll get a little deeper on these. But the Bags venue, DI, is pretty tried and true. A lot of people love
I use this one on mandolin.
Okay.
And I've had a long relationship with Grace as well.
Those are amazing.
Yeah, they're kind of a boutique brand, great customer service out of Colorado. Bags is taking care of us kind of from the get-go. I use lyrics and all the acoustics. I do plug the sound hole because that's kind of
just to
you have to here in these kind of places because it's kind of a mic type pickup, but it just feels like when you hit the string, the attack feels more natural than other pickups. You're not ever gonna get a mic feel, but I'm looking for as close as I can get within
Bluegrass
reason.
guy, sure.
You know? And I've just had good luck with Bags, and if you do, you're gonna tear stuff up because you're stomping on it, and you play like Stagecoach, and there's dust blowing in it, and they take care of you if you need a repair or anything. So that's always important. Yeah. I'm using the JHS, the compressor,
Orange
the
squeezer?
same way on this one, kind of and that pedal does so many more cool things, especially if you're using it to crank something, or like you can crank the compression up and run them both at the same time and kind of get that little George thing going on. But I use it for kind of to take volume out in a case of emergency. This switcher just goes from the Collings to the mandolin.
Yeah, you've got it listed right here. That's handy.
Yeah.
And then the El Cap.
Use that on the mandolin, but depending on the set list or like the tour, that can also be in the acoustic guitar rig, but mainly I use it on mandolin right now. And the Peterson tuners are probably the most important part. It's like your tour manager. Their tuners is not something everybody wants to talk about, but it's kind of the most important thing in the equation for me anyway. I just don't trust any other thing to tell me I'm in tune. I've got that one set to the mandolin sweetener, and then this one's just standard for the guitar. And the best thing about the Peterson from like the bluegrass world is you can tune with a capo on and like tune specific notes to like get the chord in tune. A lot of tuners get real weird if you try to fret notes and tune those. So yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got what you need to get it done, which might seem like a lot, but really it's not a ton.
Yeah, people are baffled that that's the acoustic board and then this is the electric.
There's more shit over here.
Yeah. But it's I play mainly on the acoustic most of the time, and then having multiple instruments, it's just kind of a lot more EQ needs.
That's a very litigious way to get through several instruments with one setup. That's awesome. Which can be tricky, obviously, especially when you're talking about, the input differences between old gold foils, a Strat, and, a mandolin, for example.
And the amp, it's a Dumble copy, and then I've probably failed to mention, but it's going through a JBL D120F, which I snagged out of a 70 Twin.
Very cool. 30 watt, 40 watt?
40 watt. 40? So I'm kind of keeping the ratios and stuff down a little bit because, back in the day, like, they would just blow them and replace them, but they're hard to find now, so.
Yeah. All right. So what is this little mandolin?
This is a buddy of mine built it, Will Parsons, back in Lexington. It's an A style.
Yep.
Got another Peterson tuner. It's a cool axe, man. He kind of has his own design for the F holes and builds by hand, but he typically builds like fancy F styles, and Tyler has one of those. But he built a series of these A's at like an affordable price to try to save this farm back home from being logged. And I think Jesse got one. A lot of us back home has got one of these, and this one's actually Jesse's. Mine's at home.
It's barky. Do you have a preference when it comes to mandolins, F or A?
sometimes the A, to me, and I'm kind of new to the mandolin, but I've been around a lot of great mandolin players, and they've played both. To me, the chop sometimes can be cooler on the A. It can be a little more barky, but there's some benefits to the F styles too. And to me, it's just like the build. Like,
Right.
I'd take either one of them, just depending on the sound. I mean, Tim O'Brien's one of my favorite mandolin players. He's played an A
Here you have it.
all his life,
Yeah.
you know, that I know of.
It's funny because it, to me, almost seems more of an aesthetic option. You know,
Yeah.
I love F style, and that's what I play. However, with a design that simple, it's going to be a much cheaper instrument with probably better components.
Yeah,
you know.
and you can sometimes, I would say, if you're on a budget, you're better off getting the best A you can get
Totally.
than like a cheap F. I've got an F that was built by a local builder, Homer Ledford, who actually has like dulcimers in the Smithsonian and stuff. And my dad like drew the inlay on it, and I'm having it kind of restored. I'm going to play it on the next run. But you know, one of the best mandolins for the money is the Collings MT.
Yeah.
I've got one of those, and you know, pick them up for $2,000. And a mandolin is not cheap.
Oh God! If you guys don't play mandolin,
Don't get
talking
into
introductory Gibson is like what, 10 grand?
Yeah, or
12
just like a
grand?
good hand built.
Right.
Jesse has a red diamond. It's an amazing instrument, but like, you know, depending on used or new, it's nothing for an F style to be 6 to 10 grand.
Oh,
you know,
easy.
or more.
Yeah. Or more, yeah. Especially when you were talking about, you know, more boutique builders. That's what the one thing about Collings I'm pretty impressed with is like Collings makes, well, even electrics now, but it's hard to find a boutique guitar builder that is really good at everything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You need to get Jesse to show you his Collings electric. It's it's a hoss cat. But like, yeah, Collings, like you can go in, like this guitar, I played it at Will Cut for like 5 minutes and was like, I'll take it.
I need it.
Because you just know, like, their consistency. You don't have to sit there and go through 12 guitars. Right. If you're looking for something to be weird, maybe that's not a good thing. But like, if I had to buy a guitar without playing it, like just out of like a catalog, I would have faith in pretty much anything you buy from there is going to be set up good. It's going to, and it holds, you know, like you go out west where it's dry, it never fails you. It's like a proven weapon, you know, the neck doesn't move a lot. It's just a reliable tool.
Right, yeah. And they're beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so simple
and they've been really good to us. Like we've got to spend a lot of time at the factory, and Steve at Collings is a great dude. I never got to meet Bill, but yeah, the guy that builds the electrics, man, he's a genius.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I can't remember his name, but just sitting in the shop, they test every tone pot. You know, they just grab them out of a bin and stick them in a guitar.
Right.
It's the most detailed oriented company that I've been around.
Right. It's not so much a factory like you would notice with like maybe a big box brand where there's grandmas in there soldering and shit.
Yeah,
you know,
and they'll use the machinery on the things that it's good to use the machinery on, like binding and things, but they're not gonna like CNC a whole guitar.
Right.
Know?
Yeah, man. Speaking of binding, let's get into this harmony because
this is
it's so
interesting one. It was in pretty rough shape when I got it.
I've noticed, you know, we've done a couple of bluegrass dude rundowns, you know, and these seem to be like a lot of bluegrass guys at least want to have one, you know.
I think Trey Hensley's got one.
He does, and he shreds that thing, man. We did his rundown, I don't know, maybe a year ago. But yeah, one of my favorite guitars of his was that Sovereign because it's loud.
Yeah,
so
and
loud.
it's ladder brace as opposed to X brace, but I don't like. I think it sounds cool. The conversions are cool too.
Yeah,
but
I can't remember if he had his rebraced or not, but yeah.
And that's with semi-dead strings. I've played this one a few days, but it's got a little more a Gibson sound to it, as opposed to like the Martin sound. But
it's sweet.
It's got mojo. You know, it's like how I probably got $1,800 in this guitar. You can't buy something from the 60s and 70s for that.
Plus it's just like
an electrical.
Such a striking looking guitar because I love the giant headstock they had, and then it's like almost like classical style Spanish rosette, but then the double peak.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. And then the massive bridge.
And these are not original. The originals would have been a 3-ply, and they're like
thick
Coke bottle glasses.
Probably fucking up your tone a little bit.
And I was actually happy that they had swapped those out, because then I didn't have to feel bad about doing it. But then I just feel like it lets the top move a little better.
For sure. Now, speaking of, what strings are you running? Do you stick with one brand across the board? Or?
Mainly D'Addario, like XT. Right. Yeah, I had to like dig down deep to get that right the first time.
Yeah, they sponsor the Rig Rundown, so it's funny how many different pronunciations of that we hear.
I would say I've often said D'Addario, but like I try to learn, try to progress in my vocabulary. But XT 13's on the acoustic. I forget what is it like NK or the fancier electric string.
The coded XS strings?
I don't use the XS. No. It's like NYXL. 11's on the Harmony.
Which I've heard those tend to last a long time.
And right now 9.5's on the Strat. But I go between 9s and 10s on the Strat. And there's like, I love the 9s when you're playing like with 3 electric guitars and someone else has got the, humbuckers going. But this gig is like, I might be the only one sometimes, and then like the heavier strings I can kind of fake a telly sound on that Strat a little bit, because the bridge pickup is not on a tone pot, so it kind of cuts your head off a little bit.
They didn't start that until like later in the 70s or something, right? So they're shrill.
Yeah. And you can kind of roll the volume back and sneak it by. Tyler loves a Telecaster, but I try to sneak the Strat in there.
Yeah. It's funny to me that Fender did that back in the day, because you think of any of the pickups that you'd want a tone control on, it'd be the bridge.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like my other Strats, the middle pickup's the one that doesn't have the tone pot on it. And they'll put, like that was I think Eric Johnson did that mod. But for this situation, I've left it, I just try to leave that guitar as completely original as possible. Within reason anyway. But like it does kind of have more of a telly sound without that tone pot on.
Right. Huh. Well, man, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you taking the time. Man. Congrats on this very cool gig.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna get Jesse and the rest of the guys.
Yeah, you're gonna have
now
a lot
I'm over
of fun.
here with Mr. Fiddle and Jesse Ray. One of my favorite guys. Are you still teaching? Because this has got to. Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay. I wondered
balance
because
and everything.
I was gonna say this has got to be taking up a lot of your time.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It keeps me on my toes.
You are a man of many hats. You're playing for the governor and all kinds of fun stuff. I'm into that. We don't have a ton of time, so
absolutely.
A lot of the stuff you had on your last rundown. So let's start with some new stuff.
Well, I hate to say everything is new, but
oh, is it really? Okay. Well, let's go. Let's go.
This is the heart of my rig, the '68 Telly maple cap.
Dang.
Guitar.
So that is the last time you had a custom shop. This is an actual '68.
This came from Patrick Boyle or Tech.
Wow.
He sourced
Did it
this.
it
had a
Bigsby?
Yeah,
Okay.
I took that off, and my friend Chad Underwood redid a few things, and
it's clean.
it's nice. Yeah,
it's very, very clean.
Very nice guitar. So
interesting. Yeah. Okay.
that's my fave. The George Harrison Gretsch.
Oh yeah.
This is my poor man's Julian Lage. I put the duo, not duos. These are Ron Ellis Sonics.
Ellisonics. Yeah.
That's my poor man Julian Lage.
God, he is such a player.
Yeah.
He's nuts.
It's
Man, I love that.
killer. Collings I-35.
Okay. So 335 style Collings.
Abbreviated
Okay.
a little, with the throwbacks. I love those humbuckers. My friends at RS Guitar Works built this sweet little special looking mahogany rosewood board.
Huh.
Sweet Lindy Fralin.
You little Fralins action, huh?
And this friend put this together. It's the Ron Ellis 64s. We love Ron Ellis.
Yeah.
Everything he does. So it's sweet.
What year is this?
It's a new guitar.
Okay.
A friend put this together. From
It's pretty
Kentucky.
damn good relic.
Makes beautiful guitars.
Yeah.
And then the Collings baritone.
I love these. Oh man, they're
Collings
so cool.
they're really great to us, and
Awesome.
love this thing. Steve hooks us up.
Yeah. With the mastery
friend
on
of
it
the
and
band,
everything?
the mastery.
And then I'm not seeing any pine guitars. I know you're a big fan of the pine guitars.
I got a new one, but I don't have it.
You don't have it with you? Gotcha.
Yeah, got to put Ron Ellis pickups in it.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
look at that
Mandolin,
fancy
this
schmancy.
is for heart, even tendon, 12-string.
Very cool.
James.
Was that one song kind of?
Yeah, all of these. This is the Purgatory tenor.
Oh, cool.
But it's strung like an octave mandolin. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
GDAE.
All fifths, yeah.
The wild octave mandolin.
Oh, look at this
capoed
thing.
like a mandola, so I carried a mandola for a while.
Are these mini buckers?
They are.
That is slick
They
as
sound really
shit.
cool and got the EBT.
I love that it's even like a F style. Like, it's so cool, man.
Big old
Love that.
weird looking mandolin, the Gibson banjo, and fiddle world.
Banjo, 5-string.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, because I mean, we don't see them a ton.
RB250.
Is that an older one?
pickup. It is, yeah. It's a really nice sounding banjo.
How often are you having to change the snare head on them? Ever?
Never.
Never. Yeah, because it's not like a.
Or the strings. You change them when they break.
Okay. The deader, the better.
It's Mike Seeger's old trick.
Yeah. And then you've got a couple fiddles going on. You got
This is
cool line head.
Check. Friend built this for me. It's based on a folk art piece called The Wild Booger. Charlie Kinney from East Kentucky made this painting, and so he carved the wild booger's head.
I love that.
Got the tongue and all.
That's a great looking fiddle.
Beautiful.
man.
And Tyler plays one of John Reister's instruments. Really beautiful.
Yeah, that's
made
nice.
Violins.
Very cool.
Yeah, an old German Guarneri. They're in different tunings.
Oh, really?
And then this is a Jonathan Cooper. He's a really great modern builder. Folks like Alex Hargraves, who plays with Billy Strings.
Yeah.
Likes
Man,
his instruments.
It's a beautiful back on that too.
Yeah,
It's really
he's up
nice.
in Portland, Maine.
Right on. And then as far as
And just
Pedal World, I noticed a couple
World,
new things.
So I have the switcher. I've got a couple of Mule Skinner tweed. That's like a Princeton style tweed. And then a 74, I think, Princeton reverb.
Ah.
All original.
I love those.
So Silverface has got a
Yeah, because
certain vibe.
it does. The last time we talked, you had I think it was like a twin clone or something like that, something different. Yeah. So a little bit different.
Smaller.
Setup. Yeah.
I'm running lean, small and lean.
It took me a long time to realize that small amps doesn't mean less volume.
Yeah, and with ears, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
good, clean, twangy tone.
And then you still got the pair acoustic DI.
Yeah.
Well, now
Grace
this is
Felix.
Yeah,
That's the fiddle rig, banjo rigs, LR bags.
Gotcha. And then the Bags reverb.
Yeah, for the
That's
banjo.
cool. For banjo, I see.
I dig that reverb a lot.
Yep.
And then the golden
UA stuff is so good, man.
It's fantastic.
great.
Yeah, James turned me on
Yeah.
to those. And
I love the slide rig.
slide rig.
Yep.
I haven't incorporated it yet, but I love the Mirage.
Oh.
John Leventhal's turned me on to that. His beautiful telly tone. So it's a great transparent compressor.
Flint is tried and true. Everybody
Flint,
has one. They're great.
In case the reverb goes down, it's always there.
Yeah, the Tumness is a killer little pedal. I love how small it is
It's,
too.
I'm impressed with it.
Yeah.
The Phase 90, gotta have
Gotta
that.
have it. Yeah.
Any Wayland
So when you guys are doing
tones.
Eruption, you just need to have it.
The Mystery Brain.
So that's new. What is that?
Yeah, it's just a delay, analog delay.
Oh, okay.
Fell out in California.
Yeah.
It's got a cool Gibson style preamp in it too. So it's got a boost circuit kind of Echoplex.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
So-
And the one striking new thing is
the
one of my
Chase
favorites.
Bliss,
Yeah.
The
Good
tomato
Lord.
tone, everybody calls it tomato tone.
I love those things. I heard them when they first came out at NAMM, and it
Super
blew
versatile.
my mind how good that thing sounds.
Yeah,
Now, is that an always
can
on?
do anything. No, it's kind of a boost.
Oh, okay.
Or fuzz if I need a good fuzz circuit.
Well, that's the cool thing about those. You can
Yeah.
get so many weird little
Absolutely.
tricks out of it, you know?
And it's brilliant pushing that Mule Skinner
Yeah.
Princeton.
See, that's what I'm impressed with that pedal with so much is how it wakes an amp up.
Absolutely.
Like, it's like, holy shit, that sounds killer.
Yeah, that's it. That's pretty simple. A lot of
simple.
guitar, I play something different on about every tune, so I'm just switching all the time. I love how they built this into this cap.
I love, yeah, this,
Emily Cox put all this, she did a beautiful job.
it's crazy what
Curating
a
it.
couple years can do, because the last time we talked, y'all were playing the Exit In, and now you are literally selling out arenas.
Tyler's music just translates to so many people. It's
Man.
me included.
Yeah, of course.
I'm a #1 fan.
I'm a big fan myself, so I really appreciate you
thank
taking
you,
the
man.
time. Jesse, great to see you.
Yeah, man, thank you.
What strings are you running?
These are D'Addario NYXLs.
And the D'Addario NYXL.
But they're D'Addario strings, and I've been using those since forever, and I love them.
D'Addario strings as well.
D'Addarios.
Right.
D'Addario. I've been using D'Addario. I'm a fan of D'Addarios.
Started using these D'Addarios.
I like the D'Addario NYXLs.
These are D'Addario, and I got the NYXLs on here.
Okay, moving on to Mr. James Barker. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Thanks for coming.
You got a lot of new shit.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna try to get through it quick because we got a ton of stuff going on today for
Sure.
y'all. Sound check and line check and opening bands and final night of a double sold out arena show.
Yeah.
That is insane, man.
Yeah, it's wild.
Crazy. Tell me about this cat.
It's just Eric Johnson Strat,
Yep.
and I've never done anything to it. It's one of my favorite guitars in existence. It just does it all.
I want to say you had this last time,
Probably
right?
so. Yeah, there was a point where this was all I was playing.
And you're running 5 strings. Heavy business back there.
What's that?
You're running 5 springs back there.
Oh, yep. And yeah, real tight. I just
So it's,
lock
if
it.
you're wiggling at all, it's barely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
right.
Gotcha. So more like a Bigsby than a.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
What else we got new?
Pretty much everything else, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've not seen your Rick. I've not seen.
Yeah. So
Check out that Les Paul, man.
yeah, so I got this was one of the Chicago Music Exchange, one of their special jobs, like a 58, Dirty Lemon, I think it is.
Yeah.
I
Those were originally like a golden look, right?
Right.
And when they aged, they kind of had that.
Yeah, and then 58s were usually the plainer tops, and I always liked this one was just kind of in between. It has a
Yeah.
little bit of movement on it, but it's not the big crazy.
Right.
I don't like too
It
much
is
on
beautiful,
them.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
and
that's-
are these stock?
Yep.
Cool.
I really liked that they did the thing. The Chicago Music Exchange was they underwound those pickups like 10%, so a
Little
little
output.
brighter. And it's like that Lazarus neck. It's kind of right in between. Those
are my
It's
favorite.
perfect.
Yeah.
It nails it.
Cool.
Just picked up this the USA made Casino.
Oh.
Super cool.
I'm such a
Finding
big fan
my
of
uses
these.
for it.
Yeah. Lucero is why I fell in love with these. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ben Nichols has always played one, and I'm like, wow, what a cool guitar.
We were sitting, we played the Willie Nelson Luck Ranch thing a little while back, and I was sitting there warming up on this. And Steve Earle walked up, and he's like, "I've had every one of those they've ever
I
made."
bet
He's
he has.
like, "That's my guitar, and I've
Steve's
I've
cool.
bought all the versions."
I got to meet him for the first time recently. We did a rundown a couple years ago. He's great.
Yeah, he's a trip.
Yeah, he's a trip. And then this Rick, is this
Yeah,
a 12?
1993 plus. Yeah, 12 string.
Those are so cool.
It's so cool.
Do you have to foam it or anything like that to keep it from howling? I've seen a lot of.
And I really hit it pretty hard.
Right.
I have an older rig. I have a 63, I think, 425, and it's that older pickup. It's
Screams.
like
Yeah,
it
'cause
will.
they can go a little microphonic.
Oh,
on
you
it.
can
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
into it and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Oh,
awesome.
really?
But it's like that's part of that sound.
I love that. Yeah. Which doesn't, man, those are so cool. It's such an interesting looking guitar.
Yeah. And they have the Rick thing where the octave strings on the bottom.
On the bottom, right,
Yeah. Some people change them. I kind of like it that way.
So I'm guessing this is only like coming out for a song or two.
Couple, yeah.
Yeah.
I play 2 in this app, Universal Sound.
Gotcha.
It's always been helpful on that. And then a Country Gentleman that I play quite a bit. I just put some Murdy Ball flats on it. I really like them.
Look out. Thing's a fucking Cadillac, dude.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, they're huge.
And these things are like dampeners of some
Yep.
sort?
Yeah, mutes.
Okay, mutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that to get, like, if you're doing
You can get real plucky,
Okay.
you know.
Like almost rubber.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean-
they pop up here.
Yep.
I've never owned one.
The
Okay.
old ones, I feel like we're only on one, but maybe some of these
Yeah,
Country Gentlemen.
I remember seeing it
Right,
just
but yeah,
on-
this one has the 3 string on each
Right.
side, kind of. I don't know people use them very much. They're usually rotted off on the old ones.
Yeah, totally.
But
Still
it's
cool.
An extra little thing, but it's I love that Gretsch sound is so much a rock and roll.
So
and just a useful Bigsby.
these are controlling the pickups.
Yeah,
right?
this
So
is
you're
your
running-
this is your tone,
Okay.
and then a pickup selector.
Oh,
There's no
okay.
tone knob.
Because Gretsch does a dampening switch? Is
It's
that what
just a volume
tone?
for each. No, it's just a volume for each pickup and a master volume.
Oh, okay.
You
yeah.
just have a 3-way tone knob
Man,
and then a pickup selector.
Gretsch
and then a
wiring
kill
always
switch.
trips me out.
Yeah, it is. It's a trip.
Cool.
But I love it. It gets
Yeah.
used a lot. Just a cool sound, and especially I've become pretty fond of the Bigsby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So the F-holes are painted?
Painted on these
So
guitars.
is
Yep.
it chambered or hollow?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Still completely hollow. You can get back there under the pad.
Oh, right. These have those
Yeah,
big ass. Yeah.
I've been meaning to open it up. And I can pop the pad off and throw it like a frisbee, but there's still a plate under there.
Yeah, totally.
You get
Man,
bored,
what
you
a
get bored in
great-
these arenas, you can just toss one.
Just launch it, bud. Cool. So that's a great setup.
Yeah.
Amps we have kind of hidden, right? Because you're running.
Yep.
Now you're running 2 for guitar and 2 for steel.
That's right.
Now a backup for each, or
nope? I've got my which I probably had both these amps last time we did it, but they're probably a little different, set up a little differently. I've got my amp that Richie Hall made me in Kentucky. It's kind of like a train wreck style, and that's my main lead. The majority of the time, that's
you
what
had
I'm
that
playing.
last time. That thing fucking cooks, man.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
And then my Super that used to be my only amp I toured with, I played steel and guitar through. I've now utilized as like a clean guitar for I really want, twangy.
Now, a lot of people do play steel through them. Does it have like a really high wattage speaker or something like that? Or
it's I got the Eminence replaced them. Okay. Because if I got it, had 2 CTS and 2 replacement Fender speakers that were kind of just whatever. They were all shocks I'd beat the hell out of over the years.
Yeah.
Because
I always wondered to compensate because they are so common for high headroom, clean steel, shit like that. So
it worked great. I mean, it's still it's probably my favorite Fender amp. Man,
honestly,
Supers
I
are
think
just
steel sounds fucking killer through those.
Yeah,
things,
I play a little untraditionally. I play a decent amount of drive.
Right.
So it always worked for that pretty good.
Which the last time, speaking of drive, the last time we talked, you had like 5 or 6.
There's probably different ones, but
a lot
still
of
pretty much
Yeah. So it's one board for steel and one is for
Steel's
guitar.
up there, and this is guitar down here.
So when you are playing guitar, do you just stand up and kind of hang back here?
I'm usually in this world, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's nice to have these fancy stairs now with this new set, so I get to run around and dance.
This is unbelievable. I was telling Jesse, like, compared to the last time we did it, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
A couple years can change a lot of stuff. Yeah, wow.
So it's fun. I have a little bit of room to run around now.
Yeah. So we got King of Tone.
Yep.
Which, that's a great pedal.
Of course.
Everybody loves those.
Yeah.
The double barrel, I think you had last time, and I love it. Those things are killer.
Very, very useful.
I don't know the Analog Man Bicomp.
Bicomp, so it's like a Ross on one side and like an orange squeezer on one.
Oh, nice.
I had a Lead 76 that I loved.
Right.
But especially when I moved to playing that 12 string, the orange squeezer and the 12 string just go together so well. So having 2 compressors in a box is so handy.
There's quite a few 1176 style pedals, right? I don't know if they all do that thing, but I think UA makes a pedal that does something like that.
Yeah,
and like
those are great.
I was gonna say, have you messed with any of those?
Yeah, Jesse was running one for a while, and it was really killer.
To chase that tone that you.
But the first compressor I really fell in love with was a Ross style one, and it was cool to come back and get this one, and I love what it does.
And then what is the UA Golden? Yeah, those are so nice.
Again, just it's so nice to be able to have control. Reverb on amps on the stage like this, sometimes you get
I hear it going.
So it's nice just to have it kind of controlled, and that hall doesn't have reverb, so always keep a little bit on.
Mobius and Timeline are 2 that I see together almost always. Yeah,
see them together twice.
Yeah, you see them together. You got double it.
When I went to actually split boards, I was like, I guess I got to buy these again because I'm so attached to them for both.
Yeah, man, they're phenomenal. Are you running different settings in each?
Yeah, a little bit. Like honestly, I had where I used to run one board, I had all my settings for both in one, so I just kind of copied them just to have them both kind of, because I can only grab one board to go to a show or something like that.
That's kind of nice, so you don't have to.
If I have to do a fly rig or something, I can just take. We did Europe a while back, and I just took this single board.
Yeah.
And and was able to cover all my bases.
Okay, Small Crybaby.
Yep.
Those are great. Strobo Stomp. Yep. And then I don't know these 2 pedals here that.
Yeah, that's Kagoi. He's in North Carolina. This is like his take on the Solar Sound Power Boost, like the Gilmore use them, I guess a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of like a treble booster, really cool fuzz, like gnarly.
Oh, okay.
If you crank the fuzz up, it gets like the old 60 style choppy. Mm-hmm. And then this is
Square wave shit.
JHS AT Plus.
Okay. Oh, is that an Andy Timmons pedal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's like a Marshall box, and then it just has an independent boost. That's always handy to have an extra boost.
Gotta have extra boost, man. Always. All right, so moving on over to this rig. I want to say you had the D&M drive last time.
No. I hooked up with Keeley a while back, and those guys were really they hooked me up with a few things, and I've fallen in love with a bunch of their pedals.
Yeah. I love everything Robert does.
Yeah.
The D&M stand for 2 dudes, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Dave and Mark or something. I'm not super familiar with it. But.
Yeah, I read the story at one point, but it'll be lost on me.
And then again, Timeline Mobius.
Yep.
Covering your bases.
Pretty straightforward. And then I've got this steel driver that's my big fuzz box for a few of those crazy leads that gets loud.
Those steel drivers are like a steel specific pedal.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of them don't have the fuzz side of it. It's just a preamp and a buffer.
So a boost.
So you've got a volume and most steel guitars don't have a tone control. Mine's kind of weird and does. So it gives you that extra little if you want a little more brightness for a tune.
Gotcha.
And just people have stuff with hitting a buffer before a volume pedal if you want to go in that world. I've just always found it handy to have, again, you know, both sides of it, having that little bit of treble or volume boost if I need it, and then just the gnarly ass fuzz that I tend to use.
Yeah, plus, I mean, when you're EQing yourself, there's a huge difference between this fucking place and like, you know, a club or something.
Sure.
So you kind of need to have the variety a little bit, right? Is this the same steel that we had?
No, I don't think I had it then. It looked similar. Yeah, it was a Show Bud. So Jeff Surratt, that's here in town, does Show Pro. He always worked on my Show Buds, and I finally came around to getting him to build me one. He got it done right when COVID kicked off. So
it's beautiful.
Got to just sit at home with it for a while. Yeah, it's really cool.
T-style volume and tone.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, I've seen a few of his guitars that have. He does them a while because he has. I've seen Russ Paul's guitar. It's a while. All the crazy controls down here. So Russ actually wound that pickup.
Oh wow.
It's kind of a Strat style. Much different than a big output steel pickup.
And then the double blade, what is that?
The Bill Lawrence.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The number's going to escape me around a 70 something.
Which that's a very common.
It's pretty popular,
pickup, right?
Yeah. Apparently, there's a lot of bootlegged ones out there that aren't real. I've heard that float around that people buy online. Yeah,
like chips and.
Yeah, exactly.
No
Apparently, like if you try to just go buy one on eBay, there's a chance it won't be a real Lawrence, but they'll look like them. Yeah.
Is it the Bill Lawrence that people were putting in like Hooter casters and stuff like that? Is that pickup?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he did a lot of different stuff.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
It's a pretty neat sound.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, and then what do you got going on for strings? Are you consistent across the board?
Yeah, pretty much Ernie Ball and everything. I've always liked them. I have funny string sizes, so I got to just order my individuals for those.
You order individual?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I don't know. I mean, I years ago I bought one of those little like a 6-string deck to do, just to kind of fuck around on.
Sure.
But I wouldn't know even where to buy strings for one of these things. You know what
There's
I mean?
sets out there, and it's pretty close to like their. DiDario does Paul Franklin has a set, and it's more of the modern sizes that most people are using now.
Man, Paul, I got a chance to meet him recently, and he blew my fucking.
Yeah,
that guy is just so cool.
Same. I got to meet him a little while back, and it was a trip.
Well, damn,
he's amazing.
That was quick, but I think we got through it.
Yeah.
Okay, we might make the sound check in time after all.
Absolutely.
It was great talking to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right. So here I am with Craig Burletic. Great to see you again.
Good to see you,
my
man.
dude. A lot has changed since the last time we talked, because the last time you had a tuner and a bass and I think like a Trace Elliott amp.
I was borrowing that off James's father.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Which is not a ton of stuff.
No.
And now you're able to bring out a stand-up.
Absolutely.
You've got a Fretless Wonder, which is mind-blowing to me. Those are so scary. And then this beautiful P. Tell me about that guy.
Oh, dude. Yeah, so this is a 65, but like all pre-CBS specs, so like clay dot inlays and other things. I actually saw like a 61 or something in a guitar shop and was really close to buying it. I always wanted a 60s bass. It was kind of a lot of money for me. And CJ was like, we might want to hit up our friend JT Cure, who like plays with Chris Stapleton.
Right.
He's been longtime friends with CJ and Jesse. And he was like, man, there's things he did not like about it. Had been refinished and some stuff like that. And he was like, and he just sold me this bass that day.
What a dude.
And like, man, I did not know basses could sound so good, honestly. It's like, I just think it's a real clarity in the sound. Like I always compare it to like a high definition television as opposed to like the TVs we grew up that look like that, you know what I mean? Like the floor models. So yeah, I love this bass, and
and it's clean for the age, man. I wonder what had been screwed in on either side. It was just a different bridge, I would imagine, huh?
Or this thing down here?
Yeah.
That's like the ashtray, like it would have came with like
those came with like a Tully style ashtray
there was like
thing?
a pickup cover here, and like I think some kind of metal piece here.
Yeah,
and,
whatever, that looks way cool.
Yeah, and I think I might even have those in a case somewhere, but I just didn't want to put that on because like palm muting, it kind of limits that, but yeah.
Yeah, because they come up pretty close to that pickup. Sometimes they even cover the pickups, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
At least on tellies and stuff they do.
This is pretty funny. I put we were just cutting some stuff in a session and kind of in a remote location, and I broke a string. I was playing with a pick, and we were kind of like rocking out as hard as we can rock out in our old age now, but and so like I break a string, and we're had been there for a little bit, and Tyler's like, "Did you break a string?" I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, do you have any other ones? And I was like, nah, man.
Sure don't.
But then after a while of pacing around thinking, how am I going to get a string? I realized in my upright case, I have like all my old strings are just in there. So I just took a D string off an upright.
So that's
and
why it's got that huge ball end
yeah,
on it? Oh, okay,
yeah. The thread, like when I put it on there, it was like up to here. I had like trim it all back. And dude, it's still on
these
there.
are wound probably all the way up.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, I think
on a
that might be a spiral core. I can't remember what kind of string that is, but it sounds pretty. It matched the labellas pretty well. Yeah.
So you're still running the labella flat wounds?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I do DR sometimes too, but yeah.
Now, what's up with this fretless P?
Dude, I fell in love with a bass like this when I was in college at Marshall University. It was a 1974 fretless bass, and like, dude, I hadn't seen a lot of basses even at that point in my life, and definitely never seen like a maple fretless neck.
Yeah, it's so odd.
Just kind of fell in love with it.
It almost looks like unfinished.
Yeah.
Just because it's not something you see all the time.
Right.
I guess for a guy like you, it
was
like
like
a good translation, but
I wanted to start learning the upright at that point in my life and didn't really have access to one. And so the school had this, and I was like, well, maybe I can just kind of start that process by working on this. And they let me play it. Like me, James, and Rod were in a rock band, and I played it on some gigs like that. And always wanted that bass. It's kind of hard to buy stuff from a state university because they have to like sell it through like some kind of thing. So
a lot of paperwork
wasn't
and
for
stuff.
sale. But I ended up finding this right before we recorded "Can I Take My Hounds to Heaven" in 2020, and it's a 72. And man, it's definitely had its quirks. When I first bought it, it had like a kind of a hump right here, and it was like kind of squashing grapes, like poing, poing, like that kind of thing. So like that's how it is on the Hounds record. And then I had, I think his name's Dave at Scale Model Guitars.
Yeah.
He played the neck for me.
Dave
Thank you.
is a regular shout out on our show.
Yeah, he's a great man. Yeah. What a skilled dude.
He's a very cool guy.
Yeah, so I've been playing this bass, and it's unique, and I really love it.
How did he fix that plank? Was it like, did he actually have to plane the
He
fretboard?
he planed it. Yeah, he said there was definitely like a hump like right near the D, and then
maybe there's just like a knot in the wood when they made it.
And
or
then
something?
he matched the stain. You know, he did a great job.
It's dead on.
Yeah.
The guy knows his shit, for sure. And then I don't know anything about stand-up basses, so fill me in. What is this?
This is an American Standard. It's a 1949, I'm pretty sure. Dude, every time I see a toilet, I think American Standard, and as well as my P basses. Yeah,
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah. And Toto is another good toilet shout out.
Sloan. It's called a Sloan.
Yeah. No, but yeah, man, I think I really started hearing about American Standards when I started coming to Nashville more, playing with Tyler.
Sure.
I have a good buddy, man, Alec Noonan, who's like a great bass player in town. And he was kind of just mentioning what people use, and he introduced me to Dennis Crouch, and Dennis Crouch has American Standards, and so I was on the hunt for that, and people like the 30 ones I think are really from the 30s really sought after. So I just saw this for sale like on Facebook and picked it up, and I really do like it. I had a K before this, a 1940 K, and then when I started coming to Nashville, and I also talked to Alec. He's always been great with like tips of how to get a good bass sound, and so I got these gut strings.
Is that what these are? I will wonder.
Yeah, this is real gut.
So cool.
It's like Gamut, I think, or something like that is a string. Lion, Gamut. But so that, I mean, dude, that was my first time ever using real gut strings, and I love the sound I'm getting out of this.
Is it softer sound or pluckier?
Man, it's kind of just like it has some depth, I think. 'Cause like when I first started playing fretless, I was like, fretless bass sound great. And then I started using flat wounds on my fretted basses, and I was like, flat wound strings sound great. So that's kind of what I realized with the gut strings, like they bow really nicely.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And and like, man, and even when I saw Chris Scruggs, we had played some gigs at the Ryman, and I think he might have had like all gut strings. So I was just like starting to put it together, like I should give it a shot.
Yeah.
And this is my first time, and I'm really happy with it. And also a luthier, Randy Hunt in town, has helped me get a good sound like where I can amplify it. He has this like extra sound post he'll put in.
Because these are a little bit tricky to amplify, right?
Well, that's the
they
reason
can be.
When we first started playing with Tyler, I wanted to double. I loved having upright, but it was like I had a Fishman BP 100 or whatever. It was super phonic. Like I could rub the top of my scroll and it'd be like like really loud. So
wow.
So I
crazy.
stopped. Like if I'd pick up the electric, it'd be like, oh, the bass sounds good now, kind of thing. So I just stuck with that. But now, like Randy and just like all the information I've gathered from seeing the great players here in Nashville.
I love Chris. He was my neighbor, Chris Craig's.
Dude, that
He's my neighbor for a long time.
I don't know him very well,
He's
but
a
I
great
mean,
dude.
like, man, as far as just being like a master and what a scholar, and anytime I hear him talk and watch him play, and Marty Stewart, like, anytime I see that band, and we saw him when Apostle Paul was playing bass, and then like Chris, it's just like, man, it's like, so anything I can.
Chris can also shred anything. Like
what I've seen over the years, like, it's like, how knowledgeable and just a love for music. I'm a fan.
And it's totally genuine. You know, it's a beautiful thing to see. Your amp setup has
dude,
gotten way cooler.
This is the last year when I put it together. It's like I started calling it 1010s, but this is just a.
So a 610 to 410.
It's just everything that I have kind of like laying around. Really, like I had the Aguilar cab I bought off a friend, Chaz. I got that Ampeg cab with a V4, and then Orange let me have this head, and then I finally got a Bassman. So that's kind of how it all came together. The Bassman amp is like a tone. I love a trebly sound and like sound and have a bite. And then the Orange is nice when we started playing these bigger rooms. If I was just playing the Bassman, it was just a little too thin. So I get that like nice, really low, beautiful bass sound, and then have like a cutting, kind of edgy sound on top. Right. Is what I like.
No, that's actually a really good blend of the two. Because the Bassman does a thing, man. It's awesome. But you might be lacking a little in the lower frequencies from time to time, which the Orange absolutely is going to be able to handle. Are you running this bad boy direct?
Through this this Grace DI.
Yep.
Man.
That's great. This is great.
This is brand new to me. Like, we just kind of got it at the beginning of this year, and like, you know, a lot of knobs. I actually probably need to watch some of your all's videos and maybe some videos on YouTube.
I don't know if we've ever actually reviewed the Alex, but we see them a lot more often. It's becoming pretty common.
Yeah, but it's been like, man, super reliable and super clean in the ears.
Are you still using that tube DI then?
Yeah, this is my electric pedal board here. Gotcha. So it's like both of them are going through this, and just got it.
It's so big. What tube is in it? Do you know?
Jesse, man, is probably screaming somewhere and could tell you, but I think I heard somewhere it's like based off a B15 circuit. I could be absolutely wrong about that. So whatever tubes.
I mean, it's a pretty substantial sized piece of gear.
Yeah, dude, it's roadworthy,
especially for a tube box. A direct box, you know. Yeah. Have you ever had to replace the tube?
No, man, and that thing's been dropped a few times, and it's been really roadworthy and been good.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Considering last time you just had a tuner, you got the Cali 76, which is a great compressor.
Absolutely.
Which is like an 1176 basically.
Exactly, yeah. And that's all stuff Jesse told me. I knew I needed a compressor, and at the time it was like kind of felt like an unfun purchase, you know what I mean?
Because it's like it doesn't do anything.
I know, and it's like I try to dial it in and hear the difference, but man, one thing that I can say is I felt way more official after that thing was on my show up to a gig. I'm like,
see?
Yeah. I know, look at this pedal.
Yeah, you're playing big time now, man. The Octaver I love, man, especially on bass stuff. It just sounds so cool.
Yeah,
Are you going up, or are you doing both?
I actually have one going down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
So,
almost like an 808.
Yeah, and I guess what
So cool. Yeah. And then this switch here.
That's like an AB between the two basses.
Okay.
And then this is my mute and tuner. And then I just have like another tuner running out of this.
Between the P and the fretless, are the output levels like dramatically different? Because they're close in years.
Honestly, it seems like they're pretty similar. Yeah, we're just worked out well that way.
One being pre-CBS, obviously, and then post, but I would imagine they probably
I put new pickups in this too. I put the like the 62 reissue Fender pickups in that, but yeah.
Huh. Well, damn, did I miss anything?
I think we covered just about all of it. Yeah.
Well, what a pleasure this has been, man. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Again, man. Yeah,
likewise. Okay, last but not least, I'm here with Patrick Boyle, who not only is Tyler's tech, but you are the backline manager as well.
For the tour, yep.
For the whole tour.
Yep.
Whew, busiest man in show business. You guys got a lot of stuff going on these days. So the last time we had a chance to talk to Tyler, he had a Collings that was stunning, very beautiful guitar, and whatever his number one at the time, I think, was in the repair shop. So what do we got going on now?
So this was his number one. This is the Collings DS1A.
Yeah.
This was his number one for years, but now we're using he just got this Collings Julian Lange model. And so this is 99% of the songs in the set is played on this.
Now, with this body style, tonally, what do you notice that's different than like a dreadnought?
So a lot less low end, which is great in the band context.
Because it cuts right through,
yeah,
sure.
So exactly. So we'll use this on a couple songs or maybe in the solo set or something like that for more full body sound. But this sits really nice with the band. I mean, we got 8 guys in the band.
Right.
So,
you got to kind of find your
everyone's
sonic
fighting
space.
for real estate, you know what
Sure,
I mean?
yeah.
So this has worked out really well. Yeah, and he loves playing.
Even the bridge pins are gorgeous.
This is what he wanted. He specified turquoise bridge pins, and he specified a satin finish too.
Yeah. I love a satin finish. I think, to me, I don't know. I think it just helps the top breathe a little bit better or something like that. Or like even a matte. Yeah. Wow.
And we use Diodario EJ17s, 13 to 56, and his rig is super simple. It's just an acoustic guitar, DI. Mainly what I do is I just try to make sure it's always playing in tune, especially when use a lot of different capo positions. So just making sure the frets are dressed and the nut slots are right.
Now, are his acoustics in a standard tuning and he's just capoing? Okay.
Yep, standard tuning.
So you're not, at least, you're not having to mess with that?
No. Mainly just whatever the song is, put in the capo position.
Now, do you handle his fiddles as well?
I handle them. I'm not a fiddle guy per se, but I'll keep them tuned and ready to go. He stores them in this pie safe here.
This setup is incredible.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. I've heard he's got an amp in this old RCA.
There's the amp and his papa's old TV. Yep.
And it's his actual grandfather's TV.
Yep.
Oh, how cool is that?
So and then video puts content on the screen, and then his amp is built into it. So that's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
And then here, I put some fiddle hooks. This is an old pie cooling safe. So I put some fiddle hangers in there, and that's where he keeps his fiddles during the show.
It smells like grandma's house.
Right?
I love it. Yeah. You can almost still smell the pie. Well, damn, I really, I guess that's kind of it.
Yeah, it's super simple. It's basically just keeping the acoustic
and just
good playing condition.
1 Alex per instrument. So
1 Alex for acoustic, 1 Alex for fiddle.
Which those preamps are...
They're great.
They're awesome. Yeah,
they've been really good to us. So that's pretty much what all the guys use as far as DIs go.
Cool. And then as far as picks,
uses the prime tone 1 millimeters.
So they're pretty thick, right? Yeah. For the flat, picky kind of tone.
Yep.
Well, man, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
You guys, thank you so much for watching. Sorry we got a little rushed there, but we are running out of time, so I'll see you later.
I've used D'Addario strings myself for at least 30 years, if not more.
Everybody who comes in here, with very, very few exceptions, plays D'Addario strings. And they didn't get there because of any reason except dependability and tone.